Hiya friends, remember me? I'm the prepared suburbanite. I took a hiatus for quite a long time from YouTube. I was pretty disappointed in what was going on in YouTube all around, but I just couldn't stay quiet for very long. It was a very interesting period of time. We spent quite a lot of time working in our garden, which was a near disaster this year. I think the weather affected us greatly because we had some very early cold weather, and it really stunted the growth of everything. We were able to get a decent amount of potatoes out of the garden and a few tomatoes, but the green beans and the peppers and any of the other leafies that we planted just truly failed, and very disappointed in that. Got some disturbing medical news on me, and I'm in the process right now of going through the steps to prepare for cataract surgery. So I've not only lost my hearing, and I am now losing my sight, so I guess I'll have to learn how to play pinball again. And for those of us old enough to remember the Pinball Wizard, that's my next goal in life. But the reason that I wanted to get with you today is that I have been watching what's going on in the lawfare of what's happening in the Trump administration. I am in the midst of reading Breaking the Law by Alex Marlow, and it's an excellent recap of the lawfare that Donald Trump and his associates have had to plow through over the last number of years, and he's really done a masterful job of putting it all together in a context that we can certainly all understand. So I would highly recommend that, if you haven't already, go read Breaking the Law by Alex Marlow. What has occurred to me over the last few weeks or so is the absolute number of lawsuits that have been filed against Trump and his administration for marching forward based on the will of the people and his campaign promises and all that. And it's quite an amazing display. I asked ChatGPT to see if it could capsulize what's going on, and I want to share that with you right after the intro. So here we are. There's at least, well, let me see how many. 350, maybe possibly 400 lawsuits that have been filed in the first 200 days of the Trump administration against Trump and the administrative decisions. Compare that to Biden's first 200 days, and there were about 50, possibly 60 lawsuits. And it's quite a big difference if you look at it from that perspective. So here's the top 8 so far that ChatGPT has uncovered for us to review this morning. The Alien Enemies Act deportation has been blocked. That's the order to prevent the president from deporting certain members of Tren de Agua, and because they think it's an invasion or predatory incursion, and so they've been challenged on that one, which is a big one. the Harvard research funding lawsuit, which is now frozen. And we'll have to see how that one plays out. But because Harvard University continues to push forward its DEI and foreign student issues, Trump decided that they don't deserve federal funding for research any longer, and he froze it, and this lawsuit has put an end to that, at least temporarily. The next one, number 3, is Cook versus Trump. Now that's Lisa Cook, and she's filed a lawsuit against Donald Trump forbidding her removal as a Federal Reserve appointee. And we'll have to see how this one plays out, because as each day progresses, they seem to find that Lisa Cook has more and more issues to be concerned about, but we'll have to see how this one plays out. So, next is the State Attorney General's funding conditions based on DEI enforcement. And what Trump has done is he's restricted disaster relief funds, immigration enforcement, compliance issues predicated on the existence and continuation of DEI programs in at least 20 Democrat-run states. So right now, that is ongoing, and we'll have to see how that one plays out. The Youth Environmental Climate lawsuit. They are claiming that because they're youths, I guess, that this issue of, of declaring a national energy emergency is a violation of their constitutional right to life. Okay, well, that's ongoing right now and still in process. The overall DEI and LGBTQ rights lawsuits. It's the National Urban League versus Trump and the San Francisco AIDS Foundation versus Trump. So there's 2 lawsuits going on simultaneously there. And what Trump has done is he's blocked enforcement, or the courts have blocked his enforcements of the key provisions surrounding DEI and transgender recognition, arguing that they are violating free speech and due process. And number 7 is the federal worker layoffs. They have filed a lawsuit against Donald Trump and his administration, which is the American Federation of Government Employees, AFL-CIO, versus Trump, and that remains pending, even though he made a campaign promise to reduce the size of our federal government, and it's what he was doing as a campaign promise, because that's what we voted him in to do. And the big one is the tariffs. They have been challenged, and right now it's truly a mess, because nobody really knows exactly what's going to happen to the billions of dollars that have been collected in tariff monies that have come in. But the Federal Circuit Court confirmed the ruling that he was acting outside his authority as president by imposing these tariffs. And he's asked the Supreme Court to jump in and give him a clearance on these tariffs. And this could be a truly devastating result if the Supreme Court sides with the rest of these folks that are filing the lawsuits against the tariffs. So the lawsuit volume I have already got into. There's at least 350, possibly 400 lawsuits in the first 200 days. And compare that to where Biden was during his first 200 days, and there was only 50, maybe 60 lawsuits. And those lawsuits against Biden were to undo what he was involved in, dismantling everything that Trump had put in Trump 1.0. So that don't know the exact outcomes of each of those cases, but for right now, the whole issue of the tariffs, immigration, DEI, climate, federal funding, the challenges to his executive power, it's really quite something if you really stop and think about lawfare. And I think Alex Marlow is going to have to write a sequel to his Breaking the Law book. And it may have to be Breaking the Law 2.0 to talk about what's going on with this current wave of 350 to 400 lawsuits against Donald Trump. I'm hoping that he prevails on every single one of these, because that's what we voted him in for. This is the Prepared Suburbanite saying welcome back if you're still here, and I'll see you on the next video.